107.5 WBLS, your number one source for R&B.
It is a pleasure and honor to finally welcome to the home of the Quiet Storm. Cee Lo Green, how you feel, baby?
Thank you for having me, Brother Green. I'm privileged to be here.
I just want to know, with all the things that you do, what don't you do?
I don't bullshit.
That's real talk. That is real talk. Well, I'm sure you don't mow the lawn no more.
No, I haven't in a while. But I do have a property outside of Atlanta, Georgia.
Do you?
About an hour outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and I think it's called Brooks County. Okay. I have about 10 acres out there in a farm. Ooh. And I was talking to my son because he missed out on that old-fashioned rearing of get out there and do that yard work. You know what I'm saying? So
you put him
try to reserve a bit of the landscaping for him so he can get some of that culture.
I respect that because a lot of the kids these days, if their parents are successful or doing very well, they don't get a chance to experience what it really is like to struggle.
Agreed.
And obviously, you come from the old school. You were raised old school.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was raised old school. You got to earn your coins.
No doubt about it.
before the easy way.
No doubt about it.
Well, brother, you have earned your coins in that way, but now you're earning your coins and you're being well respected across the board. There's so many things I want to kind of scratch the surface on.
Let's begin.
I know you have a brand new forthcoming CD out.
Yes.
And can't wait for it to drop. Give us the scoop on this and what brought about this particular new project.
Oh, the name of the new project is called Heart Blanche, and many people may not be familiar with that term, but it's a play on the term carte blanche, meaning the freedom or liberty to do as one wishes. And so I put that in artistic terms. And so Heart Blanche would be, as music is a matter of the heart, the ability to speak freely from the heart.
Brother Cee Lo, you've been so diverse over the years. I just want to know, take us back to childhood. Mommy and daddy, family. What was played in the house? What were you exposed to that you really didn't know it was becoming a part of your DNA? Because you are so diverse, man. I mean, when you came out with the Goody Mob in the mid-'90s, that was one aspect. Then Gnarls Barkley is another aspect. And Cee Lo Green is another aspect. So I'm just kind of curious, creatively, what were you exposed to that, one, first captivated your attention and put you in the direction of music?
Well, both my mother and father were ministers. My father passed away when I was very young, so I had a number of different surrogate fathers and big brothers and uncles, and the likes of Jackie Wilson and Bobby Womack and Al Green, and to name a few. So the above mentioned, in addition to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and let's see, the Commodores, Brick, Cameo. And then also on the alternative side, I enjoy music like Kiss and Alice Cooper and Ozzy Osbourne.
What got you into them, though?
A lot of the shock value and the showmanship. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that fear factor, something that isn't awe-stricken, but intriguing. And it's a very exciting feeling for a child. You know what I mean? So just music. Music at large, anything colorful, anything composition-wise, which is why I mentioned Earth, Wind, and Fire, just string arrangements. I like, classical music as well, so I was exposed to many things, but the core of it is gospel and blues. So I'm talking about B.B. King and Z.Z. Hill and Johnny Taylor, and Bobby Blue Bland.
Well, by you growing up in a family with both parents are preachers, that said one thing right in itself, that, your foundation was strong to build on. And anything from that point is definitely creative and overwhelming. And by you seeing so many things, you mentioned Kiss, you mentioned Earth, Wind, and Fire. We know how diverse they were and how entertaining they were.
Right.
And you brought all that with Goody Mob, in my opinion.
Yeah, around that time I had lost my mother, and I was around 17 or 18. And when that album came out, I was about 19, and so my mother was paralyzed in an accident, and she was quadriplegic, for those 3 years. So that accident happened around when I was 17, and she passed when I was around 19, on the eve of the release of that first album, which is coming up on its 20-year anniversary too, I might add. So definitely Goody Mob gave me something constructive to be a part of. You know what I mean? It gave me a center, it gave me a focus. Gave me some shelter.
Now, don't forget, later tonight, for those of you who would like to see him up close and personal do his thing, he'll be on Jimmy Fallon.
That's right.
And doing his thing, and you don't want to miss that. Brings a lot of energy to everything that you do. You are one of the entertainers that I admire because you bring more than just a song to the stage. You bring more than just a visual presence to the stage. You bring entertainment,
yes, sir,
to your stage.
I appreciate that for one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for noticing. And yeah, it's all for the sake of carrying on in that tradition of
That's
which you know, I try to not just emulate but embody, you know, the era of music and entertainment that I was most inspired by, and that's the you know, the 70s and the 80s, and
Yes, sir.
you know what I mean, and all of that grandeur. So I mean, I think that's and I think it ought to be customary. You know what I mean? I don't think you should be able to roll out of bed, you know what I'm saying, like, and just get up on stage.
Well, you know, that brings me to The Voice. And it's an interesting concept of how everything was laid out because the backs were turned to the performer. So what's fascinating to that? It was fascinating to me as a viewer. What's fascinating to you as a producer, as a music connoisseur, as an entertainer? If a person can captivate your attention from an audio standpoint, you're going to see how they really cap it off from a visual standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what was and still remains to be the greatest defining attribute of that show. You know, the blind audition, which it's coined. I think, yeah, I think it's a matter of priority. I think first, you know, your moral compass should guide you. You know what I mean? Like, you know, in the right direction first. You know, and that vibration. You know what I mean? That intangible effect, you know what I mean, like, you know, on the soul, on the psyche, you know what I mean, on the sensory, you know. I think that show is a showcasing of that of an ethereal quality, even though it's become, you know, for the sake of our entertainment. But I do think it serves a great purpose to prioritize, you know, what should be the order of things, you know what I mean, like, you know, heart and soul, integrity, you know, and genuineness, sincerity, and that sweet thing.
That sweet thing. And only a few make that sweet cut. Yeah. And what would you say to those who are listening to us tonight, for them to, as they pursue their career and the obstacles, and they're wondering why? They're wondering why things hasn't transpired. They may have not put a lot of effort into it, but from just an entertainment standpoint, because it's varied, everyone has different levels of creativity. So, but from an entertainment standpoint, what would captivate the attention of Cee Lo Green if they had an opportunity to stand before you to audition?
Well, I mean, there's different. First of all, I think that we should aspire to be writers. And avid readers to begin with, you know what I mean? Like, you know, the first natural progression to being great is having great taste. So be a bigger fan than anything, you know, and humble yourself in the presence of those who've done it before you, you know, and seek their counsel, you know.
Reach, brother.
So with that being said, yeah, you know, to just write in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, write for yourself, have an out-of-body experience, write for someone else, you know, put yourself in the position of someone, I mean, or anyone, you know, use that opportunity to be cathartic, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, because pain is also a common denominator, you know, and most art is born out of an atrocity, an ailment, a pain, an ache, you know what I'm saying?
Cee Lo, I wish I could write, brother, because I have been through so many bad relationships. I think that's a lot of pain in there. That could be the #1 record.
Yeah.
They say that most of the best things, like I read that Marvin Gaye went through a lot of traumatic experiences.
You can hear it, man. You can hear it. And when you're right to say there's a number of different capacities you can be artful, you know, you know, whether it's writing songs, writing scripts, screenplays, journalism, you know what I mean? There's many different ways that you can vent, you can express yourself and be involved, you know? So yeah, don't give up on it, because if you look at it like this, like say I myself can be doing a venue. I do believe also that there's a stage for every song. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know, but I myself as a performer, let's say I can do a 10,000 seater, you know, venue, right? And it's just me, but it's 10,000 seats. Right. And if it's a sold out house, that's 10,000 people to my one.
Yes.
Which means there'll always be more who need than who have to give away. So if you have something to share, know that it's not in vain.
Woo! I think that's worth it all in itself. If you didn't take something from that, ladies and gentlemen, you are missing out on homework. Homework. Cee Lo Green is his name. We'll come back and chop it up with him a little bit more before we let him go tonight, because I know he has a big night ahead of him. But thanks for locking in to the calm before the storm. You took a little hiatus from us. Did you go on vacation? What do you do in your downtime, brother?
You know what? Over the last 5 years, with the success of my television career with The Voice and some very extensive touring.
Okay.
I got completely preoccupied, and I had enough time to put together a stellar Christmas album, which I released. But for the most part, I haven't released any new music in the last 5 years. So, I mean, it's also given me a great opportunity in the last year or so to really focus, really dig in and put together a great album for you. So I'm really excited for people to hear Heart Blanche, November 13th. November
13th. Let's mark that on our calendars. You did a song, man. Mary, Don't You Know? Yeah. Oh, my God. That had to be, with no exaggeration, one of the most requested songs that we were playing all throughout the holidays. And this year will be no.
Can I tell you something? A special story about that? Like Sir Mark Burnett, who's the executive producer of The Voice, he's an Englishman, and he said, Cee Lo, so I heard that you're doing a Christmas album, and I'd like to make a suggestion. There's a song, Mary, did you know? You should, check it out, and
Yeah.
So that's my best English accent.
No, that's good, brother. That's pretty good. You come from the ATL. That's pretty damn good. I can't do that.
So I did it, but and I thought it was just a wonderful record. I mean, very clever in the way that it's worded and in concept. So I was like, wow, I couldn't believe as many Christmases as I've experienced. I've never heard this song one time in my life. So I Googled the song, and there was a version with Kenny Rogers singing it, and apparently it had been covered a few times. And so I've had the great pleasure of doing my own rendition of it, and this is the response I get from it, over and over again.
Because it's more than just a song. It's the interpretation.
Exactly.
It's the delivery. You can have a rack full of clothes, but not everybody's going to fit right in that attire. So you fit comfortably. That song was destined for you. I'm glad he put that in your spirit to do. I'm glad you were compelled and willing to do it, because you brought a certain energy, a certain chemistry to that song that will last and take it to the next level for sure, man.
That's what's wonderful. I don't think people get a chance or truly realize what a privilege it is to be allowed, if you will. Not all artists are allowed to make Christmas albums. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Apparently they thought that I could do it, and they were right. So
that's why I said in the very beginning, what don't you do? Because you have been doing quite a lot.
I have, man, and it's quite a diversified portfolio, as they say, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of the variety and range that I've been able to accomplish.
And rightfully so, rightfully so. So let's go back for a minute. Will Gnarls Barkley resurface at some point in your life?
Yeah, I actually talked to Danger Mouse last night. Danger Mouse is my partner in Gnarls Barkley. Many people think that I'm Gnarls Barkley alone, or that it's another alias. Right. No, my other alias is Emerald Green. Can you dig it?
I see.
King Calloway. No, I talked to him recently, and it's the next thing I want to do. Okay. God willing, we have success with Heart Blanche. Either way it goes, win, lose, or draw, we're doing another Gnarls Barkley album.
I know that's right. Well, have you had a conversation with Music Soul Child? Because I think he's kind of went down in your lane a little bit, and that's a great thing because it shows the diversity of characterization.
No, that's funny. That's funny you mentioned that. So that must be that's what they call serendipitous. Yes. We were just together the other night.
No joke.
I talked to him on the phone recently, maybe like a couple of months ago. And he was had been working with another friend of ours, Bone Crusher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I may remember Bone Crusher from I Ain't Never Scared. That's right. That's the homie. You know what I mean? Like we got a lot of history together, and he's doing an independent project, and asked if I could come in and be a part of it.
That'd be great.
And I definitely did that for him. And music came by the studio, so we ended up on the same song.
Wow.
So he didn't tell me that it would be a collaborative, effort. So that was a pleasant surprise, and he's still very talented, and he's got a lot more to offer. And we actually toured together some years ago. So yeah, he's a friend of mine as well.
I respect the lane that he has taken up as well, because I think it shows the diversity of what you creatively have. It's if you don't utilize all your blessings and utilize every aspect that you've been given, you'll be shortchanging.
Definitely, it's criminal. You know what I'm saying?
It is criminal.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to do everything that I can do without doing too much.
Well, brother, I'm glad you're doing enough, and I'm happy to know that you're willing to do a little bit more, because who would ever thought that you would have been doing the voice, you know? So that was a wonderful concept and a wonderful journey. And I know you have a few more things coming down the road.
Yeah, speaking of that, man, you know, you might all be excited to know that there's a great possibility of me going back and doing the show. So
that would be great.
Yeah, it would be.
We look forward to that, man. Well, brother, I thank you for coming by. Please don't make this your last time visiting your cousin Green up here.
I will not, family. I definitely
appreciate
come back
that.
and see you.
And I'll try to wear some emerald green just to kind of just show respect.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Cee Lo Green is his name. You can't never forget it. It's destined for greatness beyond where we are right now with him. Coming back with more. Prepare yourself, ladies. Get those candles ready, and you can start running that bubble bath. We're going to slow it down and get all sexy on.
All right.
This is the Quiet Storm in full effect.